of you who may be newer to the channel that may look at the title of this channel, Fantastique Publishing, and think, well, why is it called Fantastique Publishing? Where does the publishing come from? Why isn't it called Fantastique Paranormal or some such title? Well, the reason is that this channel was created in 2019, and it was created for me to create publishing materials, magazines, books, etc. for my artwork. Now, life got in the way and the channel sat dormant for a while. At the end of 2023, I've told this story before, so I'm going to go through it quickly. At the end of 2023, I decided to revitalise the channel as a winter project. I was already being part of the debunking community for over 18 months. And in the new year, it just naturally turned into a paranormal channel, as I've been part of the debunking community for a long time. It's where my interests lay. So right from the beginning, I was planning to still use that publishing idea and to create a full colour magazine, which I am doing and have been doing since the beginning of the year. It's called Fantastique, and it's a general magazine on the paranormal. That will be out at the end of October this month, so that is on its way. But I also have a 30-year history in producing what's called fanzines or fan magazines. Small, independently, back then, cut and paste, literal glue and scissors, on various different subjects, on music, on wrestling. And I miss doing that. I really miss doing that. So I decided to create a smaller magazine as well, which will be out every 2 months, which is what we call a zine. So it's a little black and white publication and very much focused on the debunking community. Now, the reason I decided to call it Debunk'd and focus specifically on the debunking community is I felt recently, because there's been so much chaos, because there's been so much drama, there are new channels coming in, and that's wonderful. There's more real investigation channels, there's more commentary channels, and that's great. But I feel as though, this is my opinion, the actual debunking side of things is getting a little bit lost in the mix, and I want to try and bring that back a little bit with the magazine, which is why the magazine is called Debunk'd, and that is the aspect of the community that this magazine will focus upon. So what I want to do quickly, as well as show you the magazine and explain to you how you can get hold of it or read it, and we're just going to go through it with some of the content that's in there. Now, any hard copy magazine or reading online, however you do it, and you publish it on a date, there is always going to be some things that might be slightly out of date. Things are always changing. So what's on the cover of the magazine is the debunking community as it was when I started the magazine a couple of months ago. So we go through it, and we've got comedy in there. There's an editorial in there which explains a little bit more about what this is about and how it's going to work, and if anybody wants to contribute. We've got, is this the end of the debunking community? No spoilers, but it's looking at the chaos that's been happening and how the debunking community has coped with it. We've got more comedy in there. We've got one article called Riders on the Storm, which talks, it's a brief article, but it talks about how the debunking community has coped with everything that's been thrown at it this year, and what's actually happened with both the debunking side and the fakers side. There's a longer article called The Rise of the Debunking Community that looks back a little bit at the last 12 months, how the community got stronger, how there were more debunkers in the numbers, and how that's actually affected everything, and how the community has actually developed. I also put out a request a few months ago for subscribers to the channel, what Crow called the Unsung Heroes, to actually comment on what the debunking community meant to them. So I've taken out some of the key comments from that call out, and you can read them in here. Now, I've also transcribed a podcast. The podcast involved myself, Stay Tuned, Wisdom, Crow of Judas, and Jeff from Brew Productions. So it is also available on the channel, but the hard copy transcript of what we said is in there. I have done taken all of the key debunkers that I am looking at in this magazine and given a recommendation for each of them that they've put out in the last couple of months, a video that I think is worth paying extra attention to. There's also a little list of extra channels that I'm recommending that you check out if you haven't already, and a notification that issue 2 will be out at the end of November. It's a Christmas time special, and there will be extra special sections in there to celebrate Christmas. So that's just a brief explanation as to what's going in. There's an advert on the back for the Fantastique magazine. Now, as the magazine goes forward, I am happy to take suggestions for contributions or for articles that need written. I do think the debunking community needs to be clearer in amongst all the chaos at the moment, and it's not that the channels are doing anything wrong, it really isn't. This is about actually remembering where the core of this community is, and we still need those debunking channels. It is still of the utmost importance. The real investigation channels, yes, completely important. The commentary channels, mythology channels. I'm a commentary channel. I do mythologies as well as look at the debunking community. Channels who do interviews, channels who do podcasts. It's great. There's such a variation in content now. Music channels as well. And everybody supports each other. People work together, people collaborate, and that's amazing. But I really feel strongly about bringing the focus back with the magazine onto the debunkers, onto what they do, how they do it, and why it is so important for the real paranormal community at large to actually realise that they're needed, that they'll always be needed, and that they work so hard in order to keep that content going, to ground this community into where it should be. So, just a brief vlog from me, but I wanted to reinforce what's in there. In terms of the channel, I have plans for a Halloween stream on my regular Wednesday slot, and the Saturday after, I've been planning for a while a marathon stream. Now, the marathon stream is a 12-hour stream. It will involve me doing artwork, possibly having 1 or 2 guests on. There will be a charity attached, but it was never going to be a charity stream. But what I will be asking is if anybody, instead of anybody on that 12 hours, maybe super chatting me or buy memberships to put the money towards the charity stream, which I will actually set up, and just something for Christmas. But it's not come and donate your money. It's up to people. If I'll put the link when I'm doing the live stream, and I'm not pushing anybody to donate anything. The charity I'll be using is a local animal charity that takes all different types of animals in. So that will be coming up. I have some surprises planned for December and for the Christmas season, and then into next year, again looking at the magazines, looking at extra publications as well. The 3rd issue of Debunk'd will be out at the end of January, and the 2nd issue of Fantastique will be out in February. This is ongoing now, but I will also be continuing with the content on the channel. The content on the channel will make no difference whatsoever. That will still be there, but there will be the magazines as well. Now the magazines will be available to read free online. Issue 1 of Debunk'd is already available online, and I'll put the link in the description for that. It will also be available on Kindle. That is something that should be available by about middle to end of next week, and eventually there will be a hard copy available, again probably through Amazon. The same will apply for the Fantastique magazine. So thank you to everybody for your support. At the moment of recording this, I have actually been remonetized, so that's a relief, and that's one of the reasons the content's been a bit slower than usual while I've been adjusting how I actually put stuff together. You will notice that content has disappeared. Things like Crow Radio and the songs, they will be going over to one of the other channels, and I will, once I've done all of that, let people know where to find things. But this channel I need to concentrate on, if I can, fingers crossed, keeping it monetized. So thank you everybody, and I'll see you soon.